Stephen, I can't wrap my head around this. What's going on with you? Where the heck are you right now? If you're not in the middle of some life or death situation, you better drop whatever you're doing and get yourself back home immediately.
Oh, hi, Mom. What's the deal all of a sudden? Why the frustration? You watched me head out for work this morning. I left for work this morning just like any other day. You saw me, didn't you? I can't just abandon my job and come back home on a whim. I'm still in the middle of my lunch break. So, if there's something you need to say, let's say it before I have to get back to work.
You think you can just feed me lies and I'll buy into them? Do you seriously believe that?
Hold on a second. I'm genuinely confused here. I don't understand why I'd make up stories about this.
I've heard enough. To my surprise, I raised someone who was both useless and good at lying.
I'm still not getting it. Lay it out for me. I don't even remember how you raised me. Your attention was all on my sister, Alice, and I was just a background figure. My grandparents were the ones who actually cared for me. But when they were gone, you pushed me to quit school and start working. My dreams got sidelined so you could have some extra cash.
Quit dwelling on the past like that. You're a pro at twisting the narrative to your advantage. Enough dilly-dallying, Stephen. Get back home now. We're having a family meeting, and I won't tolerate any delays.
Hold up, did you seriously say a family meeting? Are you for real, Mom?
Absolutely for real. It's high time we talked about your future. You can't just drift through life without a plan.
So now I'm the lazy one. Seriously, Mom? It's pretty hard to believe you're calling me that. If it's not something monumental, I won't be rushing home. I've got work on my plate, and I'll lend you an ear once I'm done for the day.
Did you just bring up work? I'm not following. What job are you even talking about? You've been bouncing around without steady employment.
This feels like talking to a wall. Anyway, I need to go. I'll talk to you later.
You better make your way back home, Stephen. There'll be consequences if you keep brushing me off. You better don't make me angry.
Wait a sec. Did you not hear what I just said?
Just hold on and stop talking. I know you're not really busy right now. Just come home before I get mad.
You seriously need to start listening. It's like I'm talking to a wall. I've got an important work meeting later, so I can't come home.
What's the deal? How can you, who's not even working, have a meeting?
This seems pointless. Well, gotta run now. Bye.
You better come home. I'll take action if you don't obey me.
Stephen, I can't believe you'd do something like this. How could you skip our family meeting? How dare you?
Alice, come on, are you serious? I already told Mom I couldn't make it home due to work. I'll listen to whatever you guys want to discuss when I'm back from work. My job comes first unless it's an emergency. We can hold a family meeting anytime.
It was an emergency meeting. We gathered to address your dishonesty about work. If you're truly unemployed, we need you to start working. Your lack of effort has gone on for far too long.
Honestly, I'm not understanding where all this is coming from. I was literally at my work desk dealing with paperwork.
Quit with the lies. An unemployed person doesn't have any business with paperwork.
How many times do I have to repeat myself? I'm not unemployed. Could you please explain how you arrived at this conclusion? I've always felt like an outsider in this family, but this is the first time I'm being accused of being jobless. I'm really busy with work. Not unemployed as you think. What triggered this sudden assumption?
We actually found out about your unemployment this morning. You better not lie to us anymore.
There must be some mistake. So what evidence did you stumble upon?
I ran into one of your high school buddies, John. Remember him?
Yeah, I do. What's wrong?
Well, I bumped into him at the station this morning and we chatted a bit. He asked me what you were up to these days. He mentioned that the last time he spoke to you was at a high school reunion 7 years ago. He told me you had quit your job then, and he was curious about your current work situation. Unbelievably, you've apparently been jobless for a staggering 7 years. That's just not acceptable. I can't imagine how useless and lazy you are.
Actually, I started a new job at a different company just a couple of weeks after leaving the previous one.
Stop the falsehoods. You're earning a measly $7,500 annually. Seriously?
Where are you even getting this from? What are you talking about?
I accessed your computer and saw your bank account balance. It's been stuck at $7,500 for a year now. Clearly, your annual earnings are a paltry $7,500. That's pretty much the same as being unemployed.
$7,500? Oh, you mean that bank account. There's a huge misunderstanding. I hardly use that account.
We've already decided how to handle this. Following the family meeting today, we've concluded that you need to leave the house.
You can't be serious. I'm being kicked out?
You gave up your say by purposefully missing the important family meeting you should have been at. Or do you feel embarrassed when your 7-year unemployment is brought up for discussion?
This is utterly absurd. I told you I couldn't attend due to work.
I've tossed all your stuff out into the yard. Retrieve it before it gets ruined. Rain is predicted later today. We want you and your belongings gone ASAP.
My things are outside? How could you do that? Some of my belongings are valuable and meaningful to me.
Your belongings are the least of my concerns. You better act fast before the rain starts. This is payback for hiding your unemployment from us for so long. We're overjoyed to finally rid ourselves of a lazy person like you.
It's pointless trying to reason with you. I know you won't listen.
There's no point. Everything you say is probably just more lies.
Can I at least clarify one thing? Did Mom and Dad agree to this decision? Is this final?
Yes, both of them agreed, and it's absolutely final. There's no reversing this. As I told you during the family meeting, your absence sealed the deal.
I'm actually fine with this decision. I think it's best for all of us. Just promise me one thing.
Why would I promise anything to you?
Once I'm out of the house, please never contact me or try to see me again. I want a complete break from all of you. Once again, never contact me.
That's what we were planning to say to you. It's a relief we can agree on something. We won't provide any financial assistance, even if you come begging.
Stephen, I'm honestly surprised by what you did. How on earth could you have accessed our family's savings without even telling us? You need to return all the money you took immediately.
I think I made it quite obvious that I didn't want to hear from you again. Once more, I discover that I'm being falsely accused of something. Can you explain what's happening?
This time I'm talking about the joint bank account we all pitch into for our everyday needs. The money in that account is disappearing rapidly, and it's quite clear since our spending habits haven't changed. I suspect that you might have somehow managed to access the account without permission and have been using up our savings.
How on earth could I have managed to access that account? I don't know the password, and I haven't connected any cards to it.
I'm getting tired of your constant excuses. It's time to tell the truth. You must understand how serious this is, right? I might have to involve the police. But if you admit it now and give back the money, I won't do that. You don't need to do something illegal like this. And let's be realistic. Living on just $7,500 a year is really hard. You need to think about your situation and do something to make your life better right away. If this keeps happening, you might end up with no place to live and asking for money on the streets.
Actually, I earn $7,500 per month, not per year. That's my monthly income.
What in the world are you even saying? Haven't I emphasized that I'm fed up with your fabrications? Alice told me that your annual salary was $7,500. She claims to be certain of this after examining your bank history.
There seems to be a big misunderstanding. The account she knew was the one I used during my high school days.
You're telling me that money is from your high school days? What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, that's the money I saved after you compelled me to leave high school. I took up a couple of part-time jobs, and that's where I earned my money.
You must be kidding. You're asserting that money comes from part-time work?
That's correct. It's an old account. I recently accessed it after a lengthy period of time. Honestly, I had forgotten about it over the years. It appears Alice mistook that account for my current primary one, leading her to believe I only earned $7,500 a year.
You really thought I'd buy into such an obvious falsehood? Stop lying. It's time to confess your actions.
I'm just telling the truth. It's up to you to believe it or not. But I think it's time for you to accept the truth.
What on earth are you referring to?
I'm sure Dad knows where our disappearing money is going. Please find Dad to ask more about that.
What exactly are you implying?
I think the company filed for bankruptcy about a year ago, which led to the employment of its staff after the company as a whole was shut down.
How come I didn't know about this? Did his company truly go bankrupt? I believe they were doing great, and he even got a recent raise.
I'm quite certain that's all untrue. I guess he just hadn't told you all about it yet. Actually, I'm not sure if he even plans on revealing it. The only reason I know about his company going bankrupt is because we both work in the same industry. I decided to help out and consistently deposited $2,500 each month into the household expenses account. My intention was to offer financial support until he found a new job.
Wait, are you serious? You're the one who's been putting that much money into our account? And did you just say you work in the same field as him? Does that mean you finally found a job?
Yes, I've been working here for about 7 years now.
Did you say 7 years? I thought you were unemployed all this time. Why didn't you mention it?
Actually, I did mention it to you all. I told you I was going to quit my job so I could eventually take over my girlfriend's father's company. I shared this with each of you, but it seemed like no one was interested. Everyone just assumed I'd been without work for 7 years. I truly felt like an outsider. It was as if none of you were really listening to what I was saying.
Hold on. Are you saying you're going to become the CEO of a company soon?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. At present, I'm managing one of the departments. I've been putting in extra hours, so I'm currently making at least $7,500 a month.
That's a lot of money. I'm genuinely proud of you.
It's a bit late for those kinds of compliments now. It's pretty crazy how I can earn the same $7,500 in a month these days. Back when I was juggling those part-time gigs after leaving high school, it took me well over a year to save up $7,500. I guess I've really come a long way.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the idea of you becoming a CEO and making $7,500 a month.
Well, honestly, all of this doesn't matter much to you all anymore, right? We cut ties, remember?
That was a huge mistake. You're more than welcome to come back now.
Why would I even entertain the idea of returning? I was shown the door on false accusations. My belongings were literally tossed into the yard, and I had to gather them all in the pouring rain. I endured insults for something I didn't do. It's as if no one has cared about me since I was little.
We had no choice but to ask you to leave because you missed our family meeting.
I made it clear that I had a significant work meeting that day. I also told you I'd listen to your side of the story after my work commitments. It wasn't an emergency, right? You can wait for me. Instead, I was ushered out of the house without any opportunity to explain myself.
Hi, Stephen. Mom just filled me in on everything. She said you're on your way to becoming the CEO of a big company. Is that actually true?
Yeah, I'd rather not repeat myself, though. If you want the details, go ask Mom.
I'll catch up with her about it later. Can you consider coming back to stay with us?
Why should I? You were the one who told me to never return. We agreed to cut ties and never communicate again. What happened to you?
I wouldn't have said that if I knew you were going to be a big shot CEO. It's sort of your fault for not telling me earlier.
Actually, I told you about my job when I first got it. You decided not to listen. None of you were interested in me at all. Even when I tried to engage with you all, I was ignored.
There was a valid reason behind that, you know.
It's astonishing how my treatment has changed. Now that you're aware of my job status, your interest in me seems purely financial, right? Quite pathetic. Don't you feel embarrassed?
It's not like that. I just suddenly want us to live together again. We are siblings after all, right?
Sure, whatever. Anyway, I have to return to work.
Hold on, you can't just go. We haven't resolved anything. Our savings are running low, and it looks like we won't manage next month's living expenses.
Oh, none of my business. It's not my concern anymore.
Please help us.
Remember that we severed ties? That means we're no longer family. You all are strangers to me now. I don't have any obligation to assist strangers. Deal with your problems on your own. Farewell, and please refrain from reaching out again. My mom and sister repeatedly messaged and called me asking for money, but after what they had done to me, I didn't give them any amount of money at all. Right after that, I blocked all contact from my family. They had no way to reach me, so they sought out my workplace. They shouted and caused a scene, and of course, they were immediately escorted off the premises by security. However, they persisted, leading them to deal with the police. Their finances were already difficult, and now they were further burdened with having to come up with money for the police. They used the little money they borrowed for gambling, which not only didn't make them rich, but also left them with a massive amount of debt. Afterward, no one knew where they were or what they were doing. But that's not my concern. I've now become a CEO, and I'm also preparing for my wedding with my girlfriend. Life seems to be treating me well. I'm content with all that I have, and I'll strive to cherish it.